I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dr. Meyer, why are you here? I thought you were going to be at high school. Okay. We have, we're going to amend the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to amend our agenda based on Article Title 74, Section 204, subsection 4C. We'd like to move agenda item 7B up to the segment between public comment and education. And the reason for that is to meet a deadline on that item.
Is that a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes, and the agenda is hereby amended. There is no action necessary as a result of executive session. Can I have the list, please? David Bannon.
David Bannon, Clarkport. I wasn't here, or we weren't here last week, so I don't know. I'm commenting on the levy vote. I don't know what was said about it, but I wasn't pleased with what happened because I saw a couple of board members strong-armed, discouraged from speaking. They threw their hands up and were discouraged, and voted no. Instead of voting no, voted yes. And which brings me to the levy was not on the agenda to vote on. It was supposed to be discussed. So I don't know how legal that is, to vote on something that wasn't on the agenda. So if somebody could explain that to me during the course of the meeting. The display that I said last week with the pipes and everything that I said should have been put on last October, probably could have been put on in October of 2010. Those pipes didn't wear out in the last 3 or 4 years. And I'm just wondering who dropped the ball. This should have been brought up 6, 7, 8 years ago. And then all of a sudden, last spring, we had a committee to see what's going to need to be remodeled. And then all of a sudden, this stuff comes to light. And then LPO, which was supposed to be the #1 project on all this stuff, gets dropped. So what's that all about? And then this just came up in the last couple of weeks, or 3 weeks. With Obama's new bathroom policy, how is this going to affect the plans on the new school and the new buildings?
Thank you, David. Sharon. Oh, your writing is so. Yes. I was.
Not cussing.
No.
Good evening, I'm Sharon Bannon, also from Clarkport. And although we didn't rehearse it, I'm probably parroting a lot of the things that David said. I am chagrined. How did all these sites get neglected for this long? That something has to be done immediately. Yet, a project that the loaded committee said was high priority, the alternative high school, is put off for 6 years. It makes me doubt the veracity of any of the things I heard about the urgency of getting this project done. Getting it on the ballot for August 30th, a time when a lot of people are going to be around paying attention. I doubt it. The way it's worded in for the vote at $8 million a year instead of $55.27 million, it's a little tricky. I just feel we're being bamboozled. Sorry that you're going in that direction. I think that we have time to discuss things. I agree with David that 2 of the board members had some problems with going ahead, and they went ahead, go along to get along. Just sounds like the VA, the political process in Washington, this is Sandpoint. We're trying to escape that. I hope that you'll reconsider, allow discussion, and that those of you on the board who have a conviction, stick with it. We put you there to make decisions, not go along to get along. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Okay, our first item is in the Education Department is the Hope 4th and 5th grade Green Schools project presentation.
Oh, wait,
No?
the fiber.
Oh, I'm sorry, the fiber. Oh, that's right. Well, I forgot to write it in. We added that in. And Mr. Olson is going to, Mr. Olson is going to make the presentation.
I was going to turn on the microphone, but I'm not. So, good evening, Board Trustees. In your Board agenda packet, you received an item from me regarding wide area network for the Lake Pond School District. Tonight I'm here to talk about seeking approval for the vendor bid that came in for a fiber network that would begin fiscal year 2018. And this is in response to the Fiber WAN RFP that has gone out earlier in the year. We received 2 bids for the wide area network, fiber wide area network, one from FatBeam LLC and one from ENA. We are seeking a 3-year term with a 2 gigabyte connection to all 12 sites within the district. I am recommending FatBeam be considered and approved tonight to supply this service. Just a point of interest, I suppose, within each of those bid proposals, we did go through a bid proposal evaluation based on the following prices of eligible products and services. You can see a percentage weighted to that. Other price factors including ineligible products and services, local access, prior experience, and personal qualifications. And finally, specifications satisfied, particularly understanding the needs of our district and other requirements. This fiber network is going to be extremely important as we move forward in the technology realm. In 2018, 98% of our schools are expected to have some sort of fiber network, and that's just due to all of the online courses, as you are all aware, advanced opportunity courses, testing, the ways that teachers and students are teaching and learning, all have to do with a strong, robust, reliable network. This certainly is going to support our district initiative with the one-to-one that we have going on at the high school as well as our elementary schools. And just another point of interest that these services are E-rate eligible as well. FatBeam, I know that the question might be, was FatBeam the lowest bidder? And the answer to that question is yes. As a matter of fact, they were 15% more competitive in price. So we felt that was a positive for sure.
So this is for starting next July 1st, right?
This would be July 1st, 2017.
Yeah, so next July 1st. Well,
Correct.
not the one coming, but the one, right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, you bet.
And how are they going to service the campuses that don't have fiber at them right now?
They have, their design plan addresses those issues, and that was another reason why we liked that. We knew that some of those outer schools, Clark Fork, Hope, Southside, for example, have perhaps some difficulty, but within the design that was presented to us from FatBeam, they are confident, and we are confident that they have that all mapped out.
So in other words, much the same way that the current provider is using?
No. Our current provider right now is done through wireless
Right.
LAN using towers. This is actually fiber in the ground, in the air, or perhaps in the sea.
So they'll be spending a year working through all that the next year, so we're ready a year from this July. So they'll do all their groundwork over the next year. Yeah.
Okay, so let me go back and re-ask the question, maybe to where it makes more sense. Will Clark Fork have a fiber cable coming up to it?
Yes.
They will. Oh, wow.
And Southside and Hope and all those outlying schools will be connected with the 2 gig connection.
Wow.
Is that a locked-in rate for 3 years?
It is a locked-in rate for 3 years.
And how much is the bid with the dollar?
The bid after E-rate is a little over $15,000 a month. So it is,
And that's 30, that represents 30% of the price.
correct.
And they will, we only have to pay them the 30% and they get the rest of it from E-rate?
Correct.
Okay. Anyone have any questions? Or? No? It's going to require a motion.
Microphone on. I make a motion to approve to award bid for fiber WAN contract as presented by.
Been moved and seconded. Any more questions for Mr. Olson? Any comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Olson. You guys can be excused. Okay, now we're ready for the hope. There we go. And Ms. Olson's going to introduce her students.
We are. First off, thank you for letting the students come. We have 1/6 of our class. We have 26 4th and 5th graders. So I'm going to stand behind her so I can do her slides. And we have 2 5th graders, so raise your hands. This is Emily Myers and Natalie Flicker. And we have 2 4th graders, Ryan Mathieson and Ethan Howard. And let's see, we'll start with, we did a Green Schools competition, which was in the state of Idaho. So what we did is we put forth a plan that would hopefully get our school to be more green. And it was a competition where we had to put together things and basically say, this is how we're going to make our school green. So the class took it upon themselves. I was able just to be a mentor and kind of watch them work and figure stuff out, which was really fun as a teacher. They grew both academically and personally we started about in September and fall and we finished around spring. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but we got some really good feedback from the judges. They said we were very advantageous of so many things. They took on a lot of stuff. So we did composting, the school garden, and they did also a vampire electronics presentation. So we're going to let the students take it over. And
We are a combination class of 16 4th graders and 10 5th graders in the beautiful town of Hope, ID. Welcome to our Idaho Green Schools presentation.
Our Green Schools project. 5th grade led the project with composting and vampire electronics, while 5th grade led the project with a student recycling initiative. Together we managed our school garden from harvesting, wintering, prepping, and planting. Our 5th grade summary. We did the Green Schools Challenge to reduce garbage waste throughout our school by recycling. We also tried to reduce pollution and reuse material. The number of landfills in Idaho is 27, and maybe more coming soon. Recycling can also help by reducing landfills because there will be less garbage waste to fill in landfills. It is important to recycle because we can make less pollution and cut down garbage waste. If our population continues to double every 25 years, our earth will become very overly crowded. We taught a lesson to K to 6 graders on how to recycle and made recycling boxes for each classroom with their assigned partners. Our lessons were about how recycling is important for the earth. To teach our younger classes, we did a slideshow showing how to recycle and what to recycle and what not to recycle. In conclusion, these are the things we did and reasons why we chose to do Green Schools Challenge.
All right. Here's our 5th grade timeline that we did for our project. So You can catch glimpses of that. So the first thing that we did was we brainstormed ideas that we could use for the project, and then we came up with an idea to recycle and compost. And so we split up into groups, and then we created presentations and got assigned classes that we could teach about our project and what we want them to learn about and what we want them to do to help our Earth become a better place.
Fifth grade overview and why. For Idaho's green schools, we chose recycling because we wanted the world to be a better, more efficient place to live. With clean air and less pollution, we can live much healthier in our world. Our intention of recycling was to reduce the amount of trash in our school. We took a pre-weight of our classroom trash at the beginning of our project. The average was 11.6 pounds. Our ending trash weight was 5.8 pounds. The reduced amount of trash was 50 from the beginning to the end of this challenge period. That's a lot of trash gone to recycling. How we reduce the amount of trash is in our school. In every classroom, including ours, we put a recycling bin. Also, had a big recycling bin in the hall. So when the classroom bins get full, the fifth grade class will come empty them at the end of the day, school day.
Our class took charge of the school garden in addition to recycling. We harvested, wintered, prepped, and will be planting the school garden soon. This year we started something new by selling seeds at a spring break activity called the Spring Fling. One thing we sold at the Spring Fling is sunflower seeds. The two kind of flavors were ranch and salt. We have collected these seeds from our garden. We also sold plain sunflower seeds so people can buy them to grow in their own garden. We also sold decorative flower seeds. We harvested these seeds from last year's flower garden grown in our garden. Clearly we have helped our earth be a better, more efficient place to live.
And in the spring fling, we sold more than $1,000, like together, more than that. A great
School sold $1,600. So that was, what is it? I'm gonna ask you. I think it was $1,600. So I think that's pretty awesome that you can see that we hopefully got our whole school. They've done it in the past too, but maybe getting kids thinking more of being green. So now we have fourth grade.
Bob Elementary fourth grade class headed up composting and vampire electronics. The school project the Green School project as a fun way for fourth graders to help the school be a better place. Do you know what composting and vampire electronics are? Composting helps the school because it takes away our food waste and helps us to fertilize our garden, and vampire electronics help save energy. Composting is when you put stuff like veggies, fruits, peelings, and coffee grinds in a composting bin. You spin the bin when it is full enough and eventually use the compost put in your garden. Vampire electronics are electronics that even when they are turned off, they are still using energy. You can unplug devices you are not using. In conclusion, the fourth graders chose to do composting and vampire electronics for the Idaho Green Schools Challenge. This is the fourth grade tagline. So the first thing we did was we chose to do composting and vampire electronics. Then we started composting coffee grounds from the teacher's lounge, and we made a compost bucket for the lunchroom. We researched about composting to teach to other grades, and then we taught the other grades, and then we designed a new compost can. The fourth grade class chose composting because we want to reduce wasted food in our school. Our plan is to ultimately put the compost at our school garden. How I accomplished the task of getting our school to compost is by putting a compost bucket in the teacher's lounge and lunchroom. Teams of fourth graders went around to other classrooms and taught what composting was by designing lessons, slideshows, and videos. We also put signs in the lunchroom and teacher's lounge explaining what to compost. We have a big compost bin out by our garden, so when our compost bucket gets full, someone can take it out. In conclusion, we hope we can keep composting for school in years to come. This was the fourth grade presentation taught to different classrooms in our school. Who knows about composting? Things you can and can't compost. Things you can compost. The lesson ends with need
and the fourth graders, pointing out where to compost in our cafeteria.
Also, some of the fourth graders did a video presentation on vampire electronics to teach the staff at our school.
Yeah.
Okay, vampire electronics are electronics that are not used and are plugged in. They may be off or put to sleep, but they still take energy and electricity away, and take money.
Vampires that suck energy when electronics are still plugged in.
Our collective goal was to help our school garden through reducing waste and making our school population aware of helping the earth.
We prepped our garden for this spring by removing all the dirt, putting in a barrier material, and replacing the soil. We will be mixing in our compost throughout the spring.
We had lettuce and sunflowers. We planned on continuing to plant these this spring. We planted these. We planted these already. So this was like
Last week.
no, that's last month kind of. So
No, last fall. Like, that was before.
last fall. So summer in the past. Yeah. We already planted.
But they'll look like that next year.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, they're pretty good.
More pictures of our garden.
That's also from last week.
Getting your garden ready is dirty work. Here are our compost cans and our successful cafeteria composting. We will use our compost to add to the soil, which will help us grow yummy vegetables and fruits.
This is a class in the fall when we started the Green Schools project.
And this is our class now. Very happy.
Oh, very nice. Don't,
Watching.
yeah, don't go away.
Thanks for coming.
Do you have any questions or comments?
I have a question.
Yes.
Can Mrs. Olson email that to our clerk so we can put it on our website? Because I need to go back. You went kind of fast, and I was really interested in your vampire list. Some of that stuff was like really, I mean, huge energy users, and I want to go back and look at it.
Every classroom in Hope has those like big TVs, and like no one really uses those, and they're always plugged in.
And they're always plugged in.
And no one
So are the DVD players, which take up a lot of energy.
and we don't use those.
So what surprised you when you started this? You probably had some expectations, and then when you got to the end of it, maybe there was something that surprised you about the process. Was there anything that surprised you?
Well, we were hoping to get a water bottle refill station, and from the money that we won, but, so we didn't think we would get that, but we came to school one day and there was a water pump station.
Whoa.
And that our school kind of uses a lot of paper, even though we don't really use a lot of paper.
But now a lot of us are
Cutting.
using, like putting our papers in the recycling
They're like,
box for
the one,
once.
the one in our classroom is always like kind of full sometimes.
So what do you do with the paper to recycle it? What do you do with it?
Well, we put in.
There's a big bin.
That we-
Initially, when they started, like, they wanted to recycle cans and plastics, which has been awesome, but nobody comes to Hope to take the cans and stuff. So we do have one big paper bin, and we fill that up, and then the company that does the paper takes it out.
Oh.
If we would have had like a big truck, then we could have done the cans or plastic bottles, which was initially what they wanted to do, but we found out that nobody services that school to be able to take all the recycling. That was ultimately the beginning thought. So we had to kind of take it down.
So when my son was your age, he would save all the aluminum cans, and then he would have me take them down to Pacific Recycling and sell them. Yeah, I'm sure, they look like enterprising young ladies and gentlemen. I bet they, yeah, feel the problem. Does anyone else have any questions?
That's great. How bad does the composting smell?
I was the one who went out there and took the pictures.
Well, very good. Thank you very much for coming and sharing that with us. Oh, yes, Sharon.
You must have taught the younger ones very well, because my third grader came home and told me all the things I needed to recycle and watched everything I put in the trash, and he's very knowledgeable, so I don't do anything in front of him anymore. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's awesome. Thanks, you guys.
Yes, that's pretty good. Okay, I will entertain the motion for the consent agenda.
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. The approval of resolution number 16-05, school plant facility reserve fund election. I'll hand this over to the superintendent.
Yes, actually, I'm going to hand this over to Ms. Howells, and she's going to briefly go over what's in the language, some of the finer points.
Good evening. So the resolution that's before you is the instrument under Idaho law that facilitates the school board to conduct an election. We are by law to have the August 30th vote date. We have to have the ballot to the county clerk by July 11th. Of course, we would never be so unkind as to put them under that kind of deadline. The content is driven by a few things. The first is what the board has deliberated on as far as the projects. That's in the second paragraph on the first page. The guts of the third paragraph are to meet the Idaho State Tax Commission's and the Idaho Constitution as far as the 55% voter approval rate, setting a not to exceed 0.002 levy rate. The total dollar amount is stated in the third line first to be collected over 6 years, and then the increments for the first year, that's a set dollar amount. We know that amount is set by the valuation of the district as of December of 2015. And then the following 5 calendar years are not to exceed 0.002% of the assessed market value. This was configured by legal counsel, Holly Troxel, and financial counsel, Piper Jaffray, and in conjunction with the Idaho State Tax Commission to make sure that we met all of the Idaho covenants and also the lease purchase agreement, financial instrument, and potential bond buyer.
Because it,
Go ahead.
Because it's the end of summer and many people, as Sharon pointed out, may not be around, will absentee ballots be possible?
So in the state of Idaho, you can vote absentee for whatever reason, and at any point in time in the year, right now, it could have been January 1st, you can request through the county clerk an absentee ballot for all 4 election dates. By law, they have to, for the August 30th date, they have to issue absentee ballots on July 29th. Or you can, as of July 29th, walk into the county clerk's office and vote absentee with identification for whatever reason you want.
Now, will that be advertised in the local papers so people will be aware that they can do this?
So I don't know what efforts the county makes or the county clerk makes to tell voters in the state of Idaho that you can vote absentee for whatever reason, and that you can request an absentee ballot for all 4 elections at any point in time during the year. Certainly, as a technical piece of information from the school district, we would, including all of the other provisions in the measure, say that, under Idaho law, you can vote absentee ballot if that's your choice.
Thank you.
Joel?
I move that we accept resolution 16-05.
I'll second that.
Second, any more discussion?
Yeah, I do have one comment to make, and that is in reference to Sharon's comment. When I read this, I thought that on the official ballot, the 55 is actually stated in there, but then I thought it was helpful that it actually broke down what that would be for the first year and presumably the subsequent years. So it's in there in both forms. And I just wanted to add that clarification to you so that readers who are actually looking at the ballot will see both of those things. It's in the content right before the vote. So, yes.
Does anyone else have any questions for Lisa or comments? No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much, Ms. Howells. Now it's the approval of student for alternate route to graduation. We have all 3 of our high school principals here, and I believe you're going to introduce them?
You bet. And actually, they're here just to answer any questions if you have any after I kind of share a few things. So every year we do this where each school has a number of students that will be graduating via an alternate route as is allowed by the State Department of Education. As you know, the state requires students to pass the ISAT exam as part of the grad requirements or go the alternate route as determined locally. So for us, what I'd asked the principals to do was describe what does this really mean in your particular school. So you see the numbers there. And the bottom line is this route allows our educators to document other ways that students have demonstrated their competency, that they are proficient in reading, math, and writing. Just some particular items to note that I thought were definitely relevant is the fact that these students have all demonstrated competency throughout the course of the school year in the core content areas. The fact that they may not have passed all 3 sections of the ISAT, we do not believe at all is a good determinant as to whether or not they should indeed receive a diploma from us. Some of these students utilize this route because of disabilities that prevent them from demonstrating competency on a standardized assessment. However, they have proven competency in other formats. We have some students each year who are exempt from taking the state exam due to medical reasons. There's something called Section 504 plans that these students have. We have some who are exempt from demonstrating competency via ISAT due to language issues in our school district. And finally, we have some students who simply did not demonstrate competency on maybe one section. However, they're getting an A in the class, or they're demonstrating competency through college credits they're receiving in dual enrollment courses, and so on and so forth. I am pleased that the state continues to allow us to go this route for a lot of reasons, for those reasons outlined, but also for the simple fact that it's ridiculous in my mind for one assessment that is not locally developed like the ISAT.
But,
they have such-
excuse me, point of clarity. That's the SBAC.
You bet. I
Just want to make sure we know what we're talking about. So
You
we're
bet.
talking about the SBAC.
The ISAT by SBAC, yes, it's that assessment, obviously, that we don't locally design for that to have such a heavy weight as determining whether or not they've met our local competencies for graduation. So I'm just here to share that we're all very confident, the administrators and myself and our staff, that any student that goes the alternate route and receive a diploma, they have met our grad requirements, and we're asking that you approve them for the alternate route. And these guys are here for any questions that you might have as well. Yeah.
Do we inform the parents of these kids, this is the route that we're going to graduate them?
Can you speak to that? What included
Are they
in this time?
informed that their child is going to be
If they're going
graduating?
the alternate route,
Yeah.
yeah, yes they are. It's gone through the counseling department, so the counselors work with them on their 4-year plan. So when they start their 4-year plan going in from their junior to senior year, parents are signed that 4-year plan. So then they go through it with them.
So these kids are identified their freshman year?
Well, no. Probably by the end of their junior year, going into their senior year. So you gotta have enough time to put them on that alternate.
Okay.
To show the competencies in different ways. So no, they're not identified as freshmen.
What happens if a parent says, you know what, I don't want my child graduating utilizing that method? What's the alternatives that are available to them?
Has that ever happened?
Not that I'm aware of.
How would you deal with it?
Well, we're talking about an assessment. It's not like they get a different diploma. It's how you assess them for their competency for graduation.
Okay, I understand that, but what if the parent says, you know what?
I don't want them to get their high school diploma until they pass the ISAT by SBAC. I mean, really, I think that's the question, right?
Yeah.
I guess the other option is they could get their GED. But with the new federal regulations, the GED does not count, it would count against the high schools now as a non-graduate.
And you would point that out to the parent when, if there was,
Yeah.
if the occasion ever came?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So if a parent requested that their child not take the SBAC, they would be required to go through the alternative.
Correct. But what's interesting, correct me, is next year seniors, the requirement's gone. This is the last year that the requirement's even there. Next year seniors and juniors, I mean,
Participation only.
it's participation only. They have to participate. If they don't, then there would have to be an alternate route. So really, this is the last senior class that the state has this requirement in place.
And they, in this class, most of them did not take the ISAT by aspect. Most of them banked their 9th grade attempt at 10th grade, the last ISAT 1.0, the old ISAT. So we're talking about the old ISAT.
I noticed that this is just short of half of your student
It's a large
seniors.
population, I can account, basically every single one of my students that I've worked for you guys with, 3 of them are special ed. 1 of them is on a 504, and 2 of them are new to our school within the last 2 years. And so when they took the original test, they weren't even our students. And actually, I can decrease mine by 1 because one of mine did not meet graduation requirements and won't be able to.
So yeah, and the other point being that definitely one we heard that came up a year ago was that, you know, we're definitely not just handing out diplomas. I mean, so case in point, there's students that maybe numbers from each one of these schools that might at the very last moment not be walking, you know, so there's that piece as well. So.
Well,
Is this for informational purposes or?
To approve.
Requires board approval.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve these students for alternate route to graduation as presented here tonight.
Second.
Been moved second. Any more questions? Comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Dr. Meyer, you're still here. First reading of policy 2420, Title I parent involvement revision, and I believe we have to update this every year. Is that correct, Dr. Martin?
Yes.
Thank you. Floor is yours.
You thought I really needed a microphone, I was just joking.
Okay.
I don't think you have a problem hearing me. do you?
No, we're fine.
Jackie couldn't be here tonight, Jackie Johnson, the Title I director for the district, and they run this through every year, and they have parent input, and then annually they have a new parent compact. This is the new compact. So it's just a first reading. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them back to Jackie, and then we'll go to the second reading in June.
Is there anything that you know of that is dramatically different from last year?
No. It very rarely updates very much, but
yeah, it seems to be just verbiage, rewording.
yes. The philosophy is still the same, to get their input, parent input, increase parent participation, nights.
So who comes up with the suggestions?
The parent group that gives the input.
Okay.
And she held the meetings that she knew the input.
Good. Does anyone have any questions or suggested changes for Dr. Meyer?
What kind of reception do you get from the parents?
Well, yeah, I can only speak from my experience, which was years ago at the Lake Conroe. Maybe Jeff could speak to that. What kind of
Reception to the
parents give to the Title I programs?
well, our parent group is very small, obviously, but they're generally very appreciative of being asked their opinion about how we can get more parents in. In a high school like ours, I can only speak for LPO, where we don't have booster clubs or sporting events to put in. It's a constant issue for us. I'm having an open house tomorrow. I'm shooting for 20 parents. That'd be great. But they have a lot of great ideas, and we've tried them out. So yeah.
And Joel, I don't know if you've been to Hope Elementary. I've been to several of their Title I, and they have like near 100% of the parents show up, and it's a huge, whatever focus it is at your math night, reading night, Dr. Seuss night. Just really thematic things at the Title I schools, and then parents come and interact with their kids and learn with the students, with their kids. They're really, and then food.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the actual parent compact meeting, but that's pretty small. But for our open house in the fall, we usually have about 100% also.
Oh,
Really?
good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's really
Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's no board action required on this, so second reading will be next meeting. Thank you, Dr. Meyer.
Thank
and you can be excused, thank you. And unfortunately, Mr. Albertson isn't here. He has an event that he's hosting at the high school, and he had to skedaddle, and I'm sure he had a ton of announcements, so I guess you're going to have to...
I'm going to fill the time. This is exciting.
All right.
So one, I'm going to formally introduce Matt Brass, our new Director of Technology, is here tonight. And Matt, I won't put him on the spot.
Put him on the spot.
He'll do a real formal introduction of himself at the next board meeting, like we require our new administrators to do. But welcome to you, Matt, and thanks for being here. And we're excited you joined our team. So the other piece, I don't know how much you all know about Safe Routes to School and Bike to School Day and all that. And I haven't mentioned this in quite a while, but we have a phenomenal lady, Krista Finney, who's in charge of that for the school district. And Matt Dill works really closely with Krista as well. And we tend to absolutely maximize any funding or any dollars that are on the table for Safe Routes. We find it, we get it, and that's due to Matt and Krista's work. And prior to that, it was Brenda Woodward, and she did phenomenal as well. But we just had our Bike to School Day, and just really quick, I couldn't believe the number of students that went for it. Way more than usually ride their bike to school, for sure. Kootenai had over 50 riders, Farm and Stidwell over 100, Washington 120 riders, Northside 50, if you can imagine that, out there off of that road. Hope, we know where Hope's located. They still had 6 students, and they did the bike rodeo out there. Sandpike Middle School 42, and Clark Fork had three involved as well. So it's quite an effort, and it's great to see so many families willing to allow their children to do that, in spite of some of our challenges with lack of bike routes and those kinds of things. But kudos to Matt Deal and Krista Finney on that.
We just had all kinds of teams at state.
Well, Tom was going to do this, but I will say this. We'll do an update at the next meeting on our success with that. We had more teams go to state than we ever have. I believe, trying to think of a team that did not make it to state. I think all of our teams, help me out here, from Tampa High School at least did. Clark Fork did, I believe, as well. And so it was crazy spring activity season for sure, but I'll tell Tom he's on the hook for more detail.
Okay.
I bet Matt could give us an update on the track.
Not to put him on the spot or anything like that, but hey.
Track team, we took 24 competitors and one ultimate, so we had 25 kids go to state, which is the most we've had since I've been here. I think, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but I think we had 12 state medalists who made the podium, and then we had 4 more who were in 7th grade who made the podium for points, but didn't actually get a medal. One school record broken, so it was exciting. I think all the Sandpoint teams except baseball lost in the playing game against Middleton.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
And thank you for this invitation from Clark
you're
Fork.
welcome.
And how much time should we set aside for that event?
I think it's going to be a pretty quick evening based upon, I think it's probably the smallest class in decades.
We should ask Mr. Penrose though.
Yeah.
Well,
Pillows for sure.
Different story there. Yes.
Yeah. Unknown. To be determined, right?
How long? Yeah, we've eliminated all the scholarships. We're doing a scholarship on a separate night now. So we won't have any of the scholarships. We'll have our first scholarship night in a while on June 1st at Bono's.
Nice. Wonderful.
Bill or Jeff, do you have any announcements?
I would just like to, it's been a while since I've been around this late in the meeting for announcements, so I hope you saw the great article in the Reader about our students who went to the Idaho Youth Water Summit last month. They did spectacularly. They presented on their original research around issues facing our beloved lake, and more than held their own against AP classes from Lake City who had full-time graduate students working in there. We have just our own wonderful Brenda Woodward, and the people from Seoul, Denison Webb and Eliza Fox were working with our students, and they just really blew people out of the water, so to speak. They did great. So if you have an old copy of the Reader, I hope you read it. It's a full-page article about our students. It's pretty awesome.
Bill?
I have something as well. Our school entered the state forestry competition for the first time, and it was really cool because we had a 3rd place finisher in the junior high division, and then our junior high team scored 3rd place as well. So
nice.
Awesome.
Very nice.
And then if anybody has any extra time and would like to attend and watch a new format of scholarship night, it's actually happening during the day for the first time, as far as I know, ever, and it is happening on the 26th. 2 o'clock. So if anybody is interested in seeing kind of what happens, you're more than welcome to come by.
Awesome. All right, thank you. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, I'm sorry. Melanie.
Small note, I myself and one other student from the district office visited Clark Fork last week when the arts track students put on their play, Charming. It was absolutely charming. It's very well done and very entertaining. So.
Awesome. Nice. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you for this.